Dallas Jenkins. I'm the creator of The Chosen, and I wanted to share with you a little bit of why I have actually signed on to be one of the executive producers of The Shift. I remember when I first saw the short film, The Shift, it was probably a couple years ago, and I remember thinking to myself, I don't know who this person is who made this, and I had heard that they did it for no money, but I'm really impressed, and I believe that this guy has a future. And I wanted to see more. I wanted to see where the shift turned out. I wanted to see how it could be expanded upon. I wanted to see what Brock could do with an actual budget. So the shift now has a relatively small budget. They're really keeping the budget low, and that's one of the things I'm trying to do, is help them maximize the budget that they do have and making sure that every penny that we spend is spent in the best and most efficient way possible, which is one of the things that I hope, if you've seen The Chosen, you've realized we did there too, was we didn't have Hollywood money, but we had enough to make something special. And I think that's what Brock has now. I think he's going to get, and I hope you can help him get, enough to make something special. And I think the message of the shift and the future of the shift is so important. And almost as important as any of that is Brock Heasley. He didn't ask me to say this, I promise. But I can tell you, I've seen his work on a writing side, I've seen it on the directing side, and in my 20 years in the business, there are very few people who I've thought, I want to pour into this person because I think that this person has the chance to be an impactful and disruptive and important storyteller in this business. And that is Brock. Brock is someone who, when I read what he's writing, I'm connected to it. And I want to see more, and I want to be part of it. And it reaches me on both an intellectual level and an emotional level. And if you've seen The Chosen, maybe that's what you've appreciated about it as well, is that it's not just pure emotion. It's emotion that has some thought behind it, but it's also not pure intellect. It's intellect that has some heart behind it. And all of that is, there's kind of an umbrella over all of it of a spiritual importance. Something is being said about our universe and who created it.
Nothing. I am greater than God.
Jesus
Christ.
And that's what The Shift is about. That's what The Chosen is about. It's one of the reasons why I've signed on board, and I hope you can get involved as well to be part of the beginning of what I believe is an important project and who I believe is an important filmmaker.
We need your help to turn The Shift into a full-length feature film. Click the link to invest in The Shift today.
Good evening. My name is Brock Heasley. I'm the writer and director of The Shift.
And I'm Orlando J. Gomez, producer of The Shift.
And we are very excited to be talking tonight, especially to you fans of Jason Gray, who's going to be joining us a little bit later, and also fans of Shama Mrema, who will also be our guest tonight. It's a
two-guest night.
It's a two-guest night. So those of you, if you're just seeing us for the first time, you're like, where's Shama? Where's Jason? Hold on. They're coming. But we have a really, really exciting night for you. We are making a film called The Shift, which is about a man who has an encounter with the devil, and then things go crazy, as you can imagine. Mm-hmm. And right now, you can invest in this film at angel.com/The Shift. This is only happening, in fact, as of right now, there are only 2 weeks left to do this. If you're thinking at all about investing in The Shift, do it. Get on it now, because the time is running out very, very quickly. And this is one of those things where if you're thinking, oh yeah, I'll get to it, I guarantee you,
you probably won't.
Some of you listening right now or watching right now who are going to miss it because you put it off too long. It happens every single time.
Every time.
Angel Studios does one of these crowdfunding things. It happens every time. We have raised quite a bit of money already. We've raised $565,000 last time I saw it.
Yeah.
Which is an incredible amount of money. And in fact, we're so close right now to hitting 1,000 investors, which would be really fun to have happen while we're talking to you tonight. Mm-hmm. But I know that if you're watching right now, a lot of you watching right now, you don't care about anything I've said so far. I know there's a lot of you right now, big time Shift fans, who are watching this, and what you're waiting for is the animatic. Tonight.
That's right.
We are presenting the full Shift animatic. The Shift, okay, in Animatic, first of all, if you don't even know, we're going to explain it all later, but basically it's lightly animated storyboards. We're going to give you a first look at what the feature film will be like using drawings and sound and music, and it's a really, really incredible piece that we've been working on for, gosh, like 3 or 4 months now.
Yeah, it's been quite a while.
Like, it has been a labor-intensive project, but highly, highly worth it. It was completed this morning.
Yeah, I was going to say, I barely got eyes on it this afternoon.
Yeah, in fact, you hadn't seen it at all until just like a couple hours ago.
Mm-hmm.
So this is brand spanking new, and we can't wait to present it to you. That is coming up later tonight. We want to have a goal tonight. I think we've had some investments already come in.
Yeah, I saw a couple of them.
I kind of missed them, but we had one from Kevin, I think, with $102.
There it is.
From Ohio. Awesome. And Travis from New Hampshire invested $300.
Thank you, Travis.
These are just now happening. Stacy from Texas invested $102. Thank you, Stacy. And that's it for right now. But we know there'll be more coming.
Absolutely.
Would love to hit 1,000 investors tonight and see how high we can get this thing. If we get, let's set a goal here. If we can get to, let's set a modest goal. If we can get to $10,000 in investment, so $10,000 from the time that we started, which was at $565. If we can get to $575,000 in investment tonight, I will share a story. I'll share a story of my favorite moment from shooting the pitch video, which is something we're going to be talking about a lot tonight because Jason Gray is coming up really, really soon. He, of course, is the spokesperson who you've seen in the pitch video that's been making the rounds, which has been seen at this point by hundreds of thousands of people.
Yeah.
And the comment we get over and over again is that the video is hilarious, and that is due in large part to Jason Gray.
Yeah. Fantastic performances, great delivery.
Yeah. Well, and just a great guy to work with, as you'll see. My wife just commented and says, Brock, you are getting so much better at your state recognition. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Always a compliment and a slam. That's my wife.
A backhanded compliment.
I would expect nothing less. So one of the great things about investing in the Shift is that not only do you become partners with us in that you are like able to receive a return on your investment if the film makes money, which is really cool. But also we have perks. If you invest in the Shift at certain levels, you get perks. And I just want to run down those real quick. $100, that's the minimum investment. If you invest $100, you're added to our backer list, you're on the website. If you go over 100 and you go into 300, your name is going to be in the credits of the movie. That's actually a pretty modest investment to get your name in the credit of a feature film. Not a lot of people can say that. You would get to say that at a $300. $600 or more, you're also going to get everything that we just said, plus an exclusive newsletter that we'll be sending out to investors who invest $600 or more. After that, we've got $1,000. If you invest $1,000, I'm going to make a director's cut of the trailer, and you're the only one's going to get to see it.
The Brock cut.
The Brock cut. That sounds terrible. I don't know why I don't like that.
I'm going to keep saying it.
You're going to keep, of course you are. $1,500 or more, you're going to get an early digital access to the film itself before anybody else. That is, I think that's really cool. I mean, that's like never done. So that's a pretty cool one. $3,000 or more investment, you're going to get a look at a behind-the-scenes photo album that no one else is going to see. Look, we're going to be releasing behind-the-scenes photos for sure, but you're going to see a bunch of photos that the public isn't going to see. You go higher than that, $5,000. $5,000 or more, you get the option to be an extra in the Shift. Yeah, you get to actually be in the movie, not just in the credits, in the movie.
On screen.
On screen. Now, you're going to be responsible for travel and lodging and things like that, and we'll have to tell you which days are available.
Right.
But this will be an option that's available to you. Okay, you want to go even higher, $10,000? I will print out a copy of the shooting script, sign it, and ship it to you. How cool is that? That is going to be a one-of-a-kind item. Not a lot of people come in at that level. So I highly recommend that. And remember, every single one of these things, you're going to get all the previous perks. Yeah, it's all tiered. So you're not going to, you want the script and be an extra? Great. $10,000 gets you everything. $25,000 or more. Okay, you're going to come to set. You get to be an extra, sure, but you also are going to have one full day access to the set. You can go anywhere you want, check everything out. A real peek behind the scenes. $50,000 or more. You're going to do all that. Plus, you and I, we're going to have lunch together. We're going to talk. We're going to eat. I'm going to try not to embarrass myself because I'm going to probably be very hungry because that's how a director is on set. But yeah, it's a great chance for us to get to know each other and chat. $75,000 or more, all that, plus you get to become an associate producer. And at $100,000 or more, you get to be an executive producer. Who else is an executive producer on this film, Orlando?
This little guy known as Dallas Jenkins.
Yeah, I believe Dallas Jenkins is also. How would you like to have your name in the credits next to Dallas Jenkins?
Yeah, that's literally what it would be.
That's
executive
literally
producer,
what it would
Dallas
be.
Jenkins, your name.
So those are the perks. That's what we're doing. It's a pretty exciting time to be a Shift fan. Pretty exciting time to be listening to us and watching this right now. I think tonight what we're going to be presenting to you is going to be one of the clearest looks at this feature film we've ever been able to give, that anybody
Hands
can
down.
give before they've actually
Hands
shot
down.
it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if you're having any questions about, how different really is the Shift going to be from other faith-based films after tonight,
That question's answered.
That question's answered. You're not going to have that question anymore. Jennifer says the Brock cut sounds like a rough haircut your mom gave you as a kid.
I like that.
That's very funny. And yes, it does, Jennifer. You are correct. All right. Well, we're very excited to have Jason Gray with us. It's also coming up. We do have Shama Mrema. I'm having a really hard
Shama
time
Maremma.
pronouncing his last name. It's awesome. I just don't know how to say it. He's going to be coming up later. But first, we want to bring out Jason. Now, Jason is the spokesperson from our pitch video. Jason, hello.
Hey, guys.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Do you mind if we put you back in your corner for a second and check out this pitch video so everybody can see where we're coming from and who you are?
For sure. Sounds great.
All right, let's do that. Let's check that out real quick, and then we'll come back with you.
What happens when atheists make Bible movies? You get films like this. How could you cast Batman as Moses and still have the movie be more boring than church? Never send Hollywood to do a Christian's job. No, not that Christian. You had your chance. Still like you as Batman, though. There are two problems when it comes to faith-based movies. Number one, most Christian films look cheap because they don't have the budget. The second problem is when Hollywood attempts to make their own faith movie, which is when you get Noah talking to rock monsters. Was a global flood not epic enough for you, Hollywood? Most faith-based movies fall apart quickly. And watching them is like walking on Legos with your eyes. It's hard to feel God in a faith-based film when they have the production value of a church play.
I don't feel safe!
Hey, you don't cry until the last scene.
Pray for them. Hollywood has all of the production value, but none of the Christian value. How can we as believers enjoy a faith-based film that's as enjoyable as a blockbuster, but retains the power and truth of the Bible? We need a Hollywood-quality movie created by actual believers, and that movie is The Shift. It's about a man who meets the devil himself and gets banished to a dark, parallel earth where he fights to get back to the woman he loves. The script explores some of today's hardest questions about maintaining faith, like how can a loving God allow suffering? Or how can I overcome feelings of despair and hopelessness? Finally, you can see a faith-based film that feels like your favorite movies. The Shift is a sci-fi film that will make you think deeply like Inception and weep like Matthew McConaughey in Interstellar. Man, even his ugly cry looks good. I can't do it. I can't. I'm not that talented. Using popular genres to share faith-based stories is a great way to entertain and inspire a love for God. Look at C.S. Lewis, who used fantasy to share Christian themes and inspire millions. And make millions. Even Jesus used creative storytelling to make his sermons more interesting. Parables. I'm talking about parables. We need your help to turn The Shift into a full-length feature film. But rather than pass around a donation plate, we want you to own part of the movie. Click the link to invest in The Shift today. The plan is for The Shift to be distributed by Angel Studios, which helped The Chosen become the largest crowdfunded media project of all time. Angel Studios' distribution of The Chosen then went on to generate over $70 million in revenue and over 250 million views. Here's what the creator of The Chosen has to say about The Shift.
I have actually signed on to be one of the executive producers of The Shift, and I want to see more, and I want to be part of it. And it reaches me on both an intellectual level and an emotional level.
Angel Studios also helped the Wingfeather Saga, an animated fantasy series created by a Christian author, become the largest crowdfunded kids and family animated project in history. When you invest in The Shift, you're not just investing in a groundbreaking Christian film. You have the potential to share in the profits. Now, we don't have one of these prophets to promise that you'll make this profit. But I am going to repeat that The Chosen earned $70 million in revenue. That's the highest earning faith-based project of the last 2 years. The Shift not only has the incredible potential in the marketplace, it's just an incredible movie. Listen to these reviews from folks who watched the short film. Jane F. wrote, "This looks amazing. I've never seen a faith-based film like this." Ronnie said, "There's actually no way to convey how this spoke to me just now. I look forward to seeing what God does with this film." And Jason commented recently with, "Wow, just wow." And what will really wow you is discovering that the short film was created with almost zero budget and it has already touched hundreds of thousands of lives. Imagine the impact the shift can have on hearts and minds with the proper funds. Most indie Christian films operate with a budget of about $500,000, and honestly, it shows. She's fine. Maybe the little shepherd boy could say a quick prayer? Yep, we good? With 10 times the production value, we can truly do justice to the epic themes in the Bible. So click on the link to invest in The Shift today. Look, there's nothing wrong with a film that's a labor of love, but those usually just become cult classics, which is not the best label for a Christian movie to receive. Enjoy Sunday morning values with Saturday night entertainment. Click the link to invest in The Shift today.
All right, that is the superstar himself, Jason Gray, in our pitch video. Jason, how the heck are you, man?
I'm doing great, thank you. That was it's fun to see. I really like smashing Legos, so it's part of my. When I was 3 years old, now I get to do it as a 36-year-old. It's pretty great.
So talk about that for a second. Like, were you as stressed out doing that shot as I? Because I was like seriously stressed the whole night. I don't know if you were feeling it. I'm sure I was putting it off,
especially like on the paper off of it.
Yeah,
right. Well, especially on the commandments. I mean, that was shipped in from across the country from a professional Lego maker, and we didn't have a backup, so it was like you basically have one shot, or else we would have to reset and try to reconstruct the whole thing, which could have taken hours. I knew, we had one shot, and the director of photography and everyone worked together so well to make sure that shot came together.
No, we had you practicing with pillows. We found two pillows that are about the right size, and we just did it over and over and over.
Here's the mark. Hit the mark.
Well, and it wasn't just you. I mean, you had to do it right. You had to say the line right. And then also the camera move, because the camera swings down when you did that, and that had to be just right. Mm-hmm. It was just so many different pieces. And I think it's deceptive when you watch it and it just happens and you're like, oh, that looked cool. But man.
And there was no way we were doing it again.
No, we weren't doing it. We were not going to rebuild those things. Like, there was no way. No, but it's one of my favorite
turned out great.
No, it really did. I'm liking the beard. I think we just saw a comment. Somebody said they complimented you on your beard. You must have.
Well, I saw one of the comments earlier. I saw one of the comments said that I look kind of like a young Bill Gates on the pitch video. So I was like, I got to grow the beard and change that image, because I don't think that's exactly the biggest compliment in the world. So hopefully this helps with my manliness.
So I have seen that comment a lot. Like, a lot of people are like, why is Bill Gates holding the 10 Commandments? But here's the thing. I don't think it's accurate. I mean, other than the fact that you have a similar hair color and you're wearing glasses in that particular thing, you don't look remotely like Bill Gates.
I don't know. So maybe it was like my younger brother, who's always razzing me online or something. He made some fake profiles or something.
Maybe, probably. So when we shot this video, first of all, it was a great experience. It was great having you with us here in our hometown. To my knowledge, I don't think you'd spent any real time in Fresno where we shot it.
No.
And it was actually the first time we had met. I mean, we had spoken on the phone and things like that, but it was a real just roller coaster, real quick in and out. You had an incredibly tight schedule, and you kind of just flew in and flew right back out again to get this thing done. So you may not have enjoyed it. It may have been so breakneck that you didn't even have a moment to ponder or consider. But if you had to say, like, if a knife to your throat had to say that there was an enjoyable part of making that pitch video, what would you say was your favorite part of doing that whole thing?
Oh, I really did have a great experience. I know it was super fast, but I felt like the crew. Everyone was prepared so well to make it go as smooth as possible. And it was crazy how many different locations we were able to do in that amount of time. And the sets were so amazing. Like the one where I'm in my home, and you see all of like my collections of because I'm a cinephile, so you see the collections. I was like, man, I wish we could do a full, like, at least an episode or something in this house, because it felt like it's just such an amazing, like, Hollywood production level set. It was very cool.
Yeah,
it was a museum.
Yeah, it was like a museum. And the crazy thing is that particular set, there was 2 sets that we did in that house. One was the kind of like the movie place like you talked about, and then the other one was the green, like, fantasy room where we had Dungeons and Dragons set up and some swords and different things like that. And both of those were really just facing each other in that house. And all that house, number one, was owned by our set designers. That's their home that they live in. And all that stuff in that house was their stuff. Like, they didn't go out and purchase anything. That was just everything that they had, and they just put it in those 2 rooms. It was incredible. It was absolutely incredible. No, it was amazing.
Very cool.
So, Jason, one thing we haven't done too much, and for those that are kind of like unfamiliar with you, can you tell us a little bit about just your background and, like, why are you such a funny person? Obviously, you dreamt of becoming a comedian as a kid. I mean, what's your story?
Yeah, well, so I went to college to be a dentist. I was planning on being a responsible human being, but then I got dentistry runs in the family. And anyways, though, while I was at college, I got into a sketch comedy group called Divine Comedy at Brigham Young University. And then right before we had to all leave the group that I was in and graduate and get real jobs, we pitched our little college group to BYU TV, which is its own network. And they, for some reason, gave us a shot. They gave us about $50 to film a pilot episode. And fortunately, we had, our little love group in Provo that came and supported us. And the first episode went really well. They picked it up for a season. And then now it's on its 16th season.
Oh my God.
At BYU, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So I feel very fortunate.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, and I know that you, my wife says Jason didn't have a single bad take.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
I mean, as a director, that's how I felt. I mean, every time I asked you to do it again, it was really just to get a variation. It wasn't because it was like, oh, Jason, that was a bad choice. Like, they were all good choices, and so it just became about which are the best one for the edit. No, but it's incredible that you guys are able to do that, especially with this little money. We know a little something about that. The Shift was, made for $500. That short film that people can watch at angel.com/the Shift. And we're trying to make something much bigger out of it.
Yeah, and when Brock told me, who you were and that we were bringing you on, I was like, well, can you show me something that he's done? And he sent me one of the videos, and I think I ended up just like binging so much of your content for like the next couple of days. I love all the Batman stuff, by the way. Fantastic.
Yeah, well, as you can tell, I'm kind of obsessed.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, Jason, first of all, is an incredible impressionist.
Yeah.
Some of the best Goldblum I've ever seen.
Yeah, Goldblum is fantastic.
Best Joker I've ever seen. And of course the best Batman. I think Batman is probably the character you're known the most for, because I don't know how you do it, but you can hold your mouth in the same way that Christian Bale does when he's like going full Batman. I don't know how you do that, but it looks
I don't know.
perfect.
Some weird gifts from above, I guess.
For sure. Oh man. So are you now? I know that you're a person of faith. Is there any? Well, hold on. Let me ask this question from Andrea. This comment from her. She says, Andrea says, "Yeah, Jason is great. Did he write the ad though? I love the humor and he carries it off well. The material is what really sells it though." Jason, you want to answer that question?
No, I did not. I wish I could take credit for it because it is a great script. I believe Brock and Kellen, you guys wrote it together. And Kellen is a stand-up comedian that's done a lot of things on Dry Bar. He's a fantastic comedian. I'm a big fan of his and his podcast. And his good friend Dave is my neighbor, actually, and they write together. And when we were at Studio C, Dave wrote me a really fun sketch where I got to play Christian Bale as Batman. And so the script rang true. I was like, oh man, so much of this feels familiar in a great way. And so, those guys are amazing writers and made me look good.
Yeah, no, they turned in a fantastic script. Kellen was on there, and there was some other writers from Harmon Brothers as well.
He's a Harmon Brothers.
Yeah, Zach and Kenny and all of them. Cool. And they, I think I have one line in there. There was one line I added in after the fact, the Inception. And the crying like Matthew McConaughey, like that was my sole contribution. That was me trying to imitate them a little bit. It was just a nugget that I felt we needed, after the fact, and so I just slid it in.
Well, then he stepped it up a notch with actually trying to do it, and then there's some
great improvs in there, where you're like crying, trying to cry, not ugly cry. That was not in the script, things like that. It's pretty great.
Thanks.
But yeah, so as a person of faith yourself, and I'm not going to ask you to confess your faith or give us a testimony or anything like that, but one of the things that we talk about a lot is this idea of faith-based media and trying to level up. And one of the things we're trying to do with the Shift is try to present a different way of presenting Christian media, a different way of presenting a Christian movie in a way that is going to attract different kinds of people to come and watch it. But when you think about the faith media and Christian films and movies and things like that, do you have a favorite? Is there anything that you kind of like hold above the rest?
I mean, not to sound like a total that I'm sucking up, but The Chosen really is a fantastic series. Like it's so well done, and so many people. Like I've had friends of all different religions. In fact, I have a friend who's basically atheist now, and he even watched it and was like, I have to admit, it's really good. Like it's
That's awesome.
It's a great series, and I hope they can keep doing more and more with it. But I also like a classic from my teenage years, I guess, was The Prince of Egypt. I think it's got a great soundtrack and great talent. Those voice actors. Speaking of Jeff Goldblum, Christian. Yeah, I think Val Kilmer's in it. Who played Batman, ironically. So maybe only Batman can play Moses.
I was wrong about Christian Bale. He's not in Prince of Egypt. Who am I thinking?
Yeah, he's in the other one. Yeah, the not so good one.
I'm thinking of Ray Fiennes. Ray Fiennes. I got him mixed up. British guy.
Yeah. Yes.
But Val Kilmer played Moses and did a great job.
So we have a request here, Jason, from my wife again, who apparently is very active on this live stream. She should have just shown up. She would like you to say, okay, first of all, you are not a monkey, so you can say no to this.
No, I'm just looking for my Batman cowl to see if I usually keep it by me, he said, okay. Here, give me 1 second to see if I can find it. Okay, so here we go.
While Jason's finding his Batman cowl to intone the key phrase for tonight, I just want to remind everybody that coming up we have our animatic. It is done. It is complete. Yes. We're going to present it to the world.
It is exciting.
This is a whole new look at the feature film. You've got the script. At least you have access to it. Hopefully you've taken the opportunity to read it. If you have, we're going to present 10 minutes out of that script. You're going to see it. Okay, that's coming up later. Here's Batman to tell us the most important thing about Batman. That was the most important thing.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Invest in the Shift. Do it. Gotham needs you.
Oh boy.
Yes. Yes. That did not. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I always have this about 5 feet away from me, just in case.
I know. I love how that was just on hand. That was just ready.
So I just want to know, is any box in case you ever get pulled over? You just put that on and
Oh yeah. I have one in the car, one in my room, one in the basement. You just never know when it'll come in handy.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That's awesome.
Well, we sure appreciate you joining us tonight. I want to ask you just a couple more things. And hey, if anybody's got any questions for Jason, be sure and throw them into the chat. If there's anything that you want to hear in his Batman voice, I'm not saying he'll do it, but you can request it.
Sounds like we're doing like the end of Honest Trailers where you right? Submit something to say in Batman voice.
Yes, it's kind of. So, hey, we just got a new investment. Timothy from Texas
All right,
invested
Timothy.
$300.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yay, Timothy. So one of the things that we're doing is we are taking the story of Job. Now, the story of Job in the Old Testament is kind of a strange one. It involves like a little bit of, not like gambling, but like kind of a bet between God and the devil, where, you know, the devil basically says, I can take this guy down if you just back off and let me do it. And God says, okay, you can give it a shot. And, you know, it's a really interesting story. It's one that I've always thought about a lot. It has meant a lot to me. And so we're kind of taking that story and we're making a kind of a modern day version of it with some sci-fi aspects.
Sci-fi, modern sci-fi.
You know, with the shift. That's kind of what we're doing with this thing, which is unusual. And I think it's exciting. And obviously almost 1,000 people do too, because they're investing. But, what do you think about that? What do you think about taking a biblical story? Because we talked about the Prince of Egypt, we talked about the Chosen, and those are biblical stories, but done the biblical way. You know, people are wearing robes. Nobody wears robes anymore unless they're, you know, headed to the bathroom or something in a movie. Okay, I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. But anyways, robes are not so common. But so what do you think about taking a biblical story and making it a modern day thing? Like, is that even a good idea?
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I mean, I think, like we said in the pitch video, like Jesus spoke in parables. Like he spoke so that people could understand and be entertained. Because I think when people are entertained, they listen more. If things are boring, they usually, you know, tune out. And I think that's why, like, I mean, even comedy works so well in selling pitch videos or whatever, because if people laugh, they pay attention. And I think this is the same way. A modern tale of something that they're familiar with the bill makes people be like, oh, like I know the themes of the story, but I've never seen it told this way, so it seems fresh and exciting.
Right. Yeah. No, and I think you hit on a really important point there. Sometimes we've gotten criticism from people, you know, in the comments with the pitch video where they're like, "Oh, Jesus didn't tell parables in order to be interesting," because that's the word that you use in that is, you know, he taught lessons in parables to make them more interesting. Some people are like, "No, that's not at all why he did that." And I realize that in the scriptures, Christ gave an explanation for why he, you know, use parables, but I don't think it's the only reason he did. And anybody who's a storyteller knows exactly what you're saying here, which is you have to be interesting and slash entertaining in order to capture your audience's attention. And I see Christ as one of the greatest storytellers who ever lived.
Absolutely.
It wasn't his primary goal. His primary goal was preaching and teaching lessons. But I think it's so revealing that he, more often than not, did it through a story.
Yeah.
And the one that I think about a lot, and I think one of the most famous parables, is the parable of the Good Samaritan. And to me, I think the best way to express the value of a story and taking a story like Job or any other story from the Bible and bring it into a modern context is because when you bring it into any other context, first of all, you get heightened interest. You're able to teach those lessons in a different way. But think about it like this. If I tell you, be good, I mean, you know to do that, right? That's all you really need, right? You don't need anything more than that, technically speaking, right?
Yeah.
Because you know how to be good. But if I say, okay, now here's the story about the Good Samaritan, now all of a sudden you've got a whole bunch more information about how to be good, and that idea is more firmly rooted in your mind. To me, that's the difference, and I think that's what's exciting. And I think you're right. I think comedy does the same thing. You know, I'm responding to the moderator. I shouldn't be doing that. He's talking in my ear. You in your career, you have captured the attention of hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people because you're so dang funny. And with that power, and that is a power that you have,
comes great responsibility.
Now we're going to
hey, that's Spider-Man. Let's not go there. Just kidding.
But you know what I'm saying? Like
Gotham needs comedy.
Yeah.
Like
there you go.
I think it's such an important thing to acknowledge that entertainment can serve a purpose. It can serve a higher purpose. I think comedy serves to help people in so many different ways, and just, you know, giving them a smile. How can that ever be a bad thing?
Right.
But anyway, I think you've hit on some good points, and I've rambled on for far too long. We have a question for you that's come in, and I want to hit you up with that right now. Roper Kirby wants to know, what is your number? I'm going to just invite you to interpret that question any way you want.
Yeah. Okay. Well, my favorite number is 4. I don't know why. It's it's been my favorite number since I was a little kid. I don't know if he wants my actual phone number, but I'll probably pass on that one.
Probably pass on that. Yeah.
He's probably the one who thinks I look like Bill Gates, and he wants to text that to me or something.
Probably. So I think you should probably ignore that request. But okay, well, we have something really exciting to share with everybody right now. And Jason, I don't believe that you've seen this.
I don't think I've seen it.
You haven't even seen it. But this is the making of the pitch video. This is the behind the scenes look at what we did. Why don't you stick around, and we'll talk about it just a little bit afterwards before we let you go.
Awesome.
One of the key elements for a successful pitch video is a strong visual hook right at the top. And the way that we're achieving this is with Legos. So our spokesperson, our guy, is going to have 2 Lego replicas of the 10 Commandments. He's going to pick them up and he's going to throw them down on the ground, and they're going to smash into pieces. So my mind has been all kinds of places, everywhere except on this Lego 10 Commandments. So things I forgot to do. I forgot to ask him, for pictures of what it's going to look like and like size comparisons and anything. So we're going to take these out of the packaging, we're going to give them to our actor, and he's going to throw them down, and whatever happens, happens. We have one shot at this. There's no do-overs, there's no retakes. We're going to throw them on the ground, and we're just going to see what happens. So I feel like our fear here is that it wouldn't break apart. That's not my fear. My fear is that it's literally going to break apart while I'm holding it.
Most faith-based movies fall apart quickly. Most faith-based movies fall apart quickly. Most faith-based movies fall apart quickly. Cut. It's weird to think that maybe God helped us break the commandments, but in a way I feel like we lucked out through divine intervention on breaking those tablets perfectly. So we also did the mic drop.
Don't drop it unless you're confident in the delivery.
And the first time I did it, I threw it down with way too much force, and it like shattered before it even hit the ground. So that was fun, but we nailed it on the second one. Click the link to invest in the Shift today.
So what's really great about Jason is that he comes across as such a regular guy. He always is completely inside of his characters. He completely inhabits them. You never feel like he's winking at you in any way. You believe him when he says, hey, this is a faith-based film that's also sci-fi and it's really good. When Jason says it, you believe it. I mean, it helps that it's true, but Jason really, really brings it across. He's just a super talented dude.
We are here at Cross City Christian Church. This is actually my home church. We're excited to get this stuff going.
I don't feel safe!
Hey, you don't cry until the last scene!
So I'm definitely one of those people who always felt like I watch faith-based films because more out of obligation, because I want to support than for my cinema sensibilities. The message was great. Production value tends to be a little lacking, and that's primarily because there's no money in it. And be able to marry the message with the production value of Hollywood film, I think it can be game-changing.
To be here today and to see all of this and to start to see people catch the vision that he's had all the way back when we were in our kitchen throwing spoons at the wall, the idea of it being seen and being enjoyed and uplifting others, it's just an incredibly validating and moving moment, and each day you can feel it tangibly that we're one step closer.
Okay, we just wrapped. I'm so excited for people to see what we have cooked up here and just to get this message out to people. I think this is really going to grab people who have never heard of The Shift before. They're going to come across this video and they're not going to be able to stop watching. I think it's just going to be a magnetic experience. We're so excited for what this means. We're excited to invite more people to join us. We want you to join us. If you go to angel.com/theshift, you can invest today. You can partner with us and make this film happen. Right there.
Scene 2, scene T2, H2, 1B2, 1.
For the record, you'll never do that on another set ever again. This is like the most weirdest thing ever.
Never said that.
Yeah.
And action.
Oh, that's a great ending.
Yeah, that's a pretty great ending. So, for those of you that don't know, scene numbers are usually just scene 1, take 2.
Yeah.
You know, maybe 2B.
Yeah. Right.
I developed a very complicated scheme for how to identify scenes because we had to do so many alternate takes for different purposes and variations, and I knew I was editing it, so I needed to have all of those variations built into the take numbers, and everybody just looked at me like I was totally nuts. But I'll tell you what.
Scene 1AE, alt 2.
I edited that pitch video in like 2 days.
Yeah, you did.
Because the organization was all there.
It's because it was your madness. It made sense to you. Nobody else. If somebody else had to look at it, they'd be like, "What is that?" And that was my daughter, by the way. She was the one on Slate.
Yeah, she was the one.
It was really
great.
great.
She did great. I could have never said all those. I would have been like, blah, 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 and then Brock never would have been able to edit the video.
No, she put up with it. That was awesome. Mike says, I loved the campy Jason Gray promo. Campy? No, it is. It's a little campy. Awesome. The production of that promo was great and helped persuade me to invest.
Awesome.
We love hearing that, Mike. Yeah. If you would like to invest, it's right there at the top of the screen, angel.com/theshift. Coming up very soon, we're going to have the animatic. Jason, you don't have to stick around. In fact, we got another guest we're bringing on here soon, but I encourage you to at least tune in for the animatic.
It's really cool.
I mean, I don't want to overstate it. I don't want to overhype it, but it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. Cool. But no, thank you so much for joining us, man. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate your work on the pitch video. I mean, everybody I think did a fantastic job behind the scenes and in front of the camera, but you especially, man. I'm a big fan of your work, and it was just such a pleasure to work with you. It really was.
Thanks.
Any parting words from Batman?
No, just invest in the shift. No, thank you guys. It's been an honor, and I hope I'm excited to see what you can do with this.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, man. You take care.
Yep. You too. See you guys.
See ya. All right. Well, coming up right now is our next guest. Yeah, we got 2 guests tonight. We are not showing you the animatic yet. It is still coming. We are also shouting out investments tonight. So if you want to invest, do it now, and we will shout you out. But right now, I want to show you a little bit. Shama is an incredible comedian. Mm-hmm. So comedy is kind of the theme tonight. Yep. In fact, stay tuned all the way to the end. We have a very comedic video that we did. Some of you maybe you've seen it before, and we're gonna end the night with that. But Shama is an incredible comedian, and I don't want to say too much about him yet.
Yeah,
I want you to see the man at work. So let's check out a little bit of Shama, and then when we come back, he's going to be live with us.
Yo, you want some prayer?
Can I pray for you real quick?
I'll pray for you right now.
You ever heard of the gospel?
It's the good news.
I got a large Bible.
I got a kid's Bible.
I got a medium Bible.
I got a pocket Bible.
I got that Larry Boy plush toy.
I got boarding passes from a flight to Israel.
I got water from the River Jordan.
I'm not a dope dealer. I'm a hope dealer.
I got an iPhone 6 with bootleg worship music on it.
I got a crucifix with mini Jesus on it.
I got Bible Man's lightsaber. Whoa!
Dude, I crack up every single time I watch that.
Oh, thank you so much. The video is called When Christianity is Illegal. I realize that it didn't have a title on it.
No, but I think it's pretty self-evident. It's pretty awesome. Hey, thank you so much for joining us, Shama. I have recently become a very big fan of yours. I just think your stuff is so smart, and you are such a talented performer. In fact, if we have time a little bit later, I know we have another video, a more musical video from you.
Oh, yes.
I think we may need to show that just because it's so excellent. But you and Orlando have been friends for a while now.
We go back a little ways to Internet Icon. That's where we first met.
Yes, California, Los Angeles. Was this 2013? Is that right?
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Okay. It was a
2013.
YouTube reality competition, essentially like American Idol for YouTubers. I guess that'd be a great way to describe it. Now, Orlando and his team, Stellar Lens, were phenomenal, and they showed up. I knew I was in trouble because they showed up with like multiple cars and like carts full of equipment, and I had a backpack and I was holding a tripod. That's how ill-equipped I was for LA.
We literally showed up. We literally showed up with two like PC tower computers and multiple monitors. And just like it was ridiculous.
And I will say that you guys inspired me, because there was this idea, like I went out there and I kind of lucked out just being there, and everybody's like, oh, you're super funny and you got it or whatever, and I was like, thanks, but I couldn't like produce. And so watching you guys kind of produce around me, I flew back to South Carolina with like this new fire under my rear to learn all the things and to like get better. And so to sit and talk to you guys now is almost like, wow, like full circle. Hey, I too unload a lot of things out of a small car like Stellar Lens and Orlando did in 2013.
That's awesome, man. That's great to hear. Definitely did not know that. My big claim to fame, I always say, is that I was the 100th subscriber to Shama.
Oh,
I was subscriber number 100. Now he has like hundreds of thousands of subscribers and followers.
Oh, no
so
kidding.
Like,
That's crazy.
It's like, so that's my claim to fame. So I'm just glad you gave us the time to come into it. I mean, dude, you just did
absolutely
the Devil Wars, right? I mean, that was
the Devil Wars. Yeah. Yep, we my friend PD and I, who was in the video that you just saw, we co-hosted the pre-show for the Devil Awards, and we jokingly called it the Dovies.
Awesome.
So we were thankful TBN brought us out to do that, and we met. Yeah,
do they usually have
a ton of fun? We met.
Or was that something new that they were doing that year?
So that was something new. So talk about pressure. I think they've had, somebody talk on the red carpet, but they had this whole like, hey, we're going to kind of build like a junket style thing, and we'll bring artists in. And there was a lot going on, and the idea was like, hey, like nobody mess up. And so PD and I were just standing there like, all right, Chris Tomlin's coming in. Don't mess up. That's the whole goal here. Whoever we meet, just don't mess up. Don't mess up. And it turned out really awesome.
That's fantastic. So one of the things I want to talk to you about is kind of connecting to that. So you obviously gone the route of comedy as well, like we had Jason on earlier. But your style is a little more like satirical, tongue in cheek, kind of poking fun at church culture, which I think is fantastic. But like, what kind of prompted you to go down that road?
I grew up. Well, I will say myself and the 6 or 7 guys that I collaborate with, we all grew up just as Christian kids in the 90s as possible. I was homeschooled for 6 years. I went to Christian camp. I was in something called Royal Rangers, which is like Christian Boy Scouts. And then I also happened to meet a bunch of weirdos like that. And then we started a meme page called Deuteronomy Memes. And then kind of through that, we found, all right, so there's, what was that?
That's hilarious. Deuteronomy is hilarious.
Yeah, thank you. And that's PD who was in the video, he works on that a lot. He like admins that. But yeah, so kind of creating memes and hanging out and grabbing lunch, and a lot of, I would say, fruitless years of, even though it was like building, of just kind of like, hey, like making fun of what about this? Hey, have you ever thought about like how this is common? Kind of developed into, hey, let's create content. Like, let's make a podcast. Let's create content, and then just putting stuff out there, and then more and more people seeing it. But yeah, it was just people talk about write what you know, and we just knew, hey. Christians are weird, and some aspects of Christian culture is funny, and ultimately, like a local church, it's just like you meet a genre of people. I've been to hundreds of churches. You can go to another church. You're like, hey, you're just Jimmy the greeter from my old church. You're like, and that church also has that person. So, yeah,
that's awesome. So I mean, obviously, like it goes over. People enjoy it. Yeah. You have a lot of followers, a lot of subscribers. Obviously, Devil Awards was liked it enough to bring you on for that. But have you met any resistance? I mean, I feel like it could be something that some people can't take a joke or it just ruffles feathers too much. Like, what's your experience with that?
Christians were renowned for their sense of humor.
Right? Yes, sense of humor, yeah, and very, very.
Well, I'm saying that because
graceful all the time.
Because Shama, I don't know if you've seen our pitch video, but it's a little.
I have, yeah. I love it.
Okay, it's
I love it.
In nature. And as you can imagine, as I'm sure you especially can imagine, we have gotten some criticism for things that are clearly jokes. I can only imagine what your life is like.
The thing about the internet right now, and just the kind of content that we love making, is that I find that if you know the creators of the content, you enjoy it a little more. And so, I'm not doing long Instagram captions after every satirical video to be like, the real truth about worship in today's, I'm like, hey, I'm not doing that. Here's the comedy. And, if we want to talk about what worship is or what the role of the church or missions or whatever that, like, hey, we can talk that. Let's grab coffee. Let's grab lunch, call me. Let's talk about that. So, there are some people who can tackle big theological concepts online, and they do it very masterfully, and they can do it in 30 seconds, and the subtitles will be all which way. I'm not one of those people. I have grown up a Christian. I love the Lord, the heart behind the ministry. All of us, we have rules that we abide by, but we love the church. We go to church. We love, all things about God and the gospel. And we believe that there's still hope in the church and in this space that we're in of creating Christian content. So we create from the place of love and respect. And another thing, I'm like, hey, if we hated the church, which somebody one time sent me a message, and the message just said, hey, I can't tell if you hate God or not. And I was like, man, if I hated him, I sure am devoting a lot of time researching him, researching his people to make fun of them. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. That's shocking to me. I mean, it's not shocking to me because I know that there are people who misunderstand. Yeah, because it's the internet.
Yeah.
But I guess as a person who maybe sees things a little bit differently or is thoughtful in a different way, it's impossible for me to look at your stuff and not see you as somebody who obviously has a love for the Lord, but recognizes the difference between the Lord and the gospel and the culture.
Yeah.
Right.
And those are not the same thing.
Yeah.
They're two different things. You do such a great job of highlighting the difference. Mm-hmm. That's what you're doing. And I think you do it in such a fun way, and it's just, I don't know, how in the world can anybody watch your stuff and come away thinking that you don't have a love for it?
And I kind of mentioned it again, I joked about honest trailers, Screen Junkies. I think it's like the same thing. Like it's so funny, but it's clearly because these guys are cinephiles. They love movies,
coming from a place of
and
love.
So they can make fun of it, and you get that they genuinely love. They don't hate movies,
right?
It's the same thing, right? Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, man, you were one of the first people that came to mind when we started talking about who we should bring on to join these live streams with us, because I always felt like what you were doing is something very different, and in terms of Christian entertainment, Christian content, and obviously what we're doing is along the same lines. While you're using comedy and satire, we're using drama and sci-fi, and so just kind of curious as your take on that. Like, again, this is something very different. What do you think about a faith-based sci-fi drama?
Man, I mean, and you all really captured it well in the pitch video of, hey, we need great Christian movies. There are, everybody else they all have the things, and we as Christians, we don't have, I love the cult classic, joke, but no, we need all of that stuff. And when I had first learned about what you guys were doing, I thought, wow, okay. And then, all right, and y'all are already kind of have gotten a lot of funding behind it already. I'm like, oh, so this is it's going from I think a few years ago, friends and I, we talk about making content and then talk about hopefully what if 100,000 people saw it, and now we're blowing past those numbers, and then we're also thinking what if somebody created a movie like this, and Christian sci-fi was thrown around maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And so seeing you guys do it is man, it's super, super kind of comforting to know, okay, so we're headed in a good direction, just in terms of Christians who create stuff and want to see stories being told and truth being told and parables and all these things kind of being reimagined with it on a different format. And so it's really, really encouraging. It's extremely encouraging, because we know, like, they're always going to have, like, we're not going to not stop having Marvel, and we're not going to stop having, kind of Hallmark stuff. But, so seeing, fellow Christians and who are creating something different, but is still in line with what people want to see, it's really, really encouraging, man. And you would think there's like, oh, cool, but it's like, no, like, keep going, keep going. Yeah. Like, give me an oar. Like, I'm going to sit in the back, like, help you guys kind of like paddle this thing to the destination,
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Dude, absolutely, man.
But you're right. I love what you said about how, there are these things that already exist. There's the Hallmark type Christian movies. There's the Marvel movies over here. And those should exist. They should be there. Yeah. I mean, nothing you've ever said suggests that, those should go away. But I do think that there is room for a more diversity of content. There should be more diversity of the types of films that we as Christians put out. And the Shift, I think, is filling a hole that maybe a lot of people didn't know existed. Wasn't anybody knocking down my door asking for a sci-fi Christian drama, but we're making one anyway. And as it turns out, there's a ton of people who want to see something like that. They just didn't. It's like the iPhone of movies. You didn't know you needed an iPhone until you saw the iPhone. And you're like, oh, credit. Exactly. I'm going off crazy tangents here, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that there's room. And I think that there is more of a demand people realize for greater diversity of Christian media and content. Absolutely. We've had some.
There are a lot. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Let's talk about it. First of all, I just want to know if you could have a tier where, like, a perk where if you invest enough money that you get to be Brock for a day, like where you just get to direct. And listen, skill level doesn't matter. Like, let's get a little lady from the Midwest who's never been on a film set, just a wild card to direct a day of the Shift. 15 pages.
I'll give you a shot, maybe. Not even.
Oh man!
There's a part of me that would actually love that, just because.
How about this?
How about people to know how much harder it is than it looks?
How about instead of actually getting to direct, you get to wear Brock's clothes behind him and shadow him to do all this.
You get to be Brock. Oh, man.
We have had some investments roll in. If we can just toss those right back up real quick, I want to be sure and shout them out. I think we had Tim from Virginia invested $501. Awesome, Tim. Welcome. And Melissa from Iowa invested $300. Welcome, Melissa. We are very, very glad to have you. I think we're getting really close to 1,000 investors. I feel like we got some questions for you, Shama, that have come in. Let's see. Dotted 8 says, "Will Shama have a role in the Shift?"
Hey, man.
I don't know if this question's for you or for me.
I don't know. This is the audition, guys. You're seeing it live. Don't make me use this Apple Pencil on you.
I'll say this. I am definitely not opposed. I think you're very talented, and I think, as anybody who studies drama and comedy knows, anybody who is a very, very talented comedian can easily do drama, like no problem. That's so transferable. It's hard to go the other way. It's hard for drama actors to do comedy, but it's very easy for comedy actors to do drama. I hope you do audition.
Let me say this. I know that when I first started auditioning as an actor, I remember thinking, like, I could be in everything. I could be in that. I can be in that. And then now, and just to ease whoever asked that question, it's like a puzzle, And so instead of thinking like I want to be in that puzzle, my thought process and everybody's thought process, who you've been in it long enough, is like, hey, I hope I'm a puzzle piece that they are looking for it, So if it's not in the Shift, I'll fit somewhere else, and I'm not offended by that,
Yeah. No, that's a perfect way to put it. I mean, there's so many people I would love to put in the movie. But for example, I've had some people reach out and they're like, "Hey, I'm a teenage actor and I would love to be a part of this." And I have to write them back and say there are
There's no teenage roles.
Sorry, that just doesn't exist. So it's not that you're not great and you're not talented, but I have. You know, so that's not what our puzzle looks like. It's not a piece we make.
That's basically the same thing.
Yeah, Teresa wants to know, how is Shama involved with the Shift? Is he going to be in it? It's kind of the same question.
So you got 2 votes.
Shama's just a good dude, is what he is, and we'll, if we can find a spot in the Shift forum, I would love to see it happen. Roper wants to know, Shama, do you know the meaning of life? What is the meaning of life?
Man, love God.
Skills.
Love God, love people. Oh, you thought I was going to talk about something like soup? No, love God, love people. I believe that's truly the meaning, and and I believe that everything is, especially I could say in my life, is really kind of bubbled out from that, is loving God and growing up in a great home with great parents who taught me to do so, and then also loving people. I think about a bunch of opportunities that I've had that have all just been people who loved me, and then me loving them back, and then all of a sudden, like, hey, you want to come do this, or hey, are you free? And so, there you go, Roper Kirby.
It's a perfect answer. We got one more question for you, and it is from Neil Liam. He says, "Does Shama have a cameo?" What? I feel like we're just getting variations on the same question here.
They're really guys. The gig is up. I kind of paid a couple of people to really strong arm you guys into.
I love it.
Hey man, it's funny.
All right. Well, we sure appreciate you joining us tonight and saying some nice words about the Shift and letting us know a little bit about your background. Let's see. Do we go out? Do we go out with Shama with his? You make the call.
Yeah, I mean,
we need to see the worship song.
If we have time, I think.
John, can we pop that up? Is that possible? And then the worship song. Is that possible? I'm talking.
You cue it up while we're talking.
But Shama, if you've got a minute, I'd love to just come back real quick from that and just ask you your thoughts on like what world inspired.
That was the first thing I showed him, and he was
the first thing I ever saw of you. Was to hear like
dying watching this.
Oh, oh heck yeah, man!
Are we a bridge too far, John? Can we? Okay, all right. Let's check it out.
This is the first verse of the worship song. The words are simple, so sing along long. I am terrible, but he is able. It's incredible, hope this song's relatable. Life's got me down, I'm at the end of my rope. So here's an out of context Bible verse about hope. This is the chorus, we're lifting our voices, loud and triumphant, we're singing the chorus. It's repetitive, it's repetitive, it's repetitive. All my problems are gone.
I'm a rich blonde female, singing about how I fail. When things are bad again, I am struggling. I'm a total mess, my life's a train wreck. I'm pure garbage, I need him again. Life's got me down, I'm at the end of my rope. Here's an out of context Bible verse about hope.
This is the chorus, we're lifting our voices, loud and triumphant, we're singing the chorus. It's repetitive, it's repetitive, it's repetitive.
That's right, church.
All my problems are gone.
Sing it, church.
The drums are getting louder, I'm feeling overpowered. The rushing wind and waves, they bow to you, now I surrender. I feel a holy fire, fire rounds with desire. I'm about to cry and lift my hands to the sky. with no instruments.
Just the voices.
Chorus, just the voices.
Come on, y'all.
Chorus with no instruments.
Little higher.
Chorus with the key change. Chorus, 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 chorus. Sloppy, sloppy kisses, singing passion yet. I know I'm being vague. This song's not about my ex. This song's about Jesus. This song's about Jesus. This song's about Jesus. We forgot to mention Jesus. This is the chorus. We're lifting our voices loud and triumphant. We're singing the chorus. It's repetitive. It's repetitive. So repetitive. All my problems are gone.
Dude.
That
so funny.
does not ever fail to make me laugh. Tanisha says, hilarious. You completely nailed it. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
It's not just you guys are funny, but I mean, you're musicians. Dude, like, first time I saw it, like,
dude,
bro, he could sing too? Come on, man. That's not
Well, I can sing with the help of a producer, my producer Andrew, who was playing piano and also scrolling his phone just because of how mindless that worship song keys were. We thought that was a funny gag, but no, we was Robert, my friend Robert Thorell directed it, and Andrew produced the music, and PD, myself, Andrew, and Robert co-wrote the lyrics, and this was an idea. So we had this idea, we're like, oh, we want to create. I had this. I've created this random action verb church, and I do promos as
random. I love that. Random action verb.
And so we're like, all right, random action verb worship. All right, let's make a song. And this song is an idea that we did. Like, it's like when you, what is that thing at the fair when you hit a hammer and like the thing goes all the way up. This one, like, I can't remember, but it's like shattered the bell and went through the sky, because every time we sit down, like, guys, second song for the worship, for random action verb worship, and we're like, we use all the ideas for the first one. There's literally, the well is bone dry. yeah.
I love like the key change, like the chorus, like breakdown, like no voices, just voices, then it goes to a key change.
Oh my
brilliant.
Gosh. Kills me. Yeah,
it was
keychain line.
Oh, it was so much fun. It was so much fun. We borrowed a couple of ideas from a few people. The early YouTube 2006-07. Everybody was kind of doing like parody songs. Right. That was the TED Talk. That was the TED Talk of worship songs. Thank you, Diana. I appreciate it. Thank you for coming to the TED Talk, facilitated by the Shift.
No, and look, we showed that, and that may seem like we weren't originally going to show that because it's a little long for what we're doing tonight. We're trying to move on. Everybody's like, why aren't we showing the animatic? But like, I wanted to show that because number one, it's freaking hilarious, it's brilliant, and I knew everybody would love it, and they and they do. But I think it's so, what you're doing with that song and comedy, I feel like is so much of what we're trying to do in drama.
Right.
I mean, it really is. Like, we're trying to make a film that is a bit of a reaction to the other faith films that are out there. Like, we're specifically doing things in a different way and expressing faith in a different way because we see it being done this way over there. And so it's like, okay, that's covered. Like, it's done in that way. That's great. But let's do something. Let's do it a different way over here. Mm-hmm. And I feel like you're doing the same thing where you're bringing, you're expressing your faith and your love for God through this comedy that is really incisive and really, really funny. And I guarantee you that video is going to get passed around tonight because so many people watched it for the first time. And what a great thing that is.
You want to know? So I was recently in small groups this past weekend. I had we were talking about like, what is your why? And the reason why I graduated high school, I was in homeschool, graduated, and I went to a Bible college here in South Carolina where I live. And then I volunteered at a church throughout my years at Bible college. And then I got a job working as a youth pastor there. and I was voluntarily let go within a couple of months. It just didn't work out. The pastor and I kind of butted heads, and I remember thinking, I went to school to be in ministry. And I didn't feel like I had the tools, like the software and the hardware to kind of do, or the software to kind of do ministry conventionally, like with a Western church, kind of how I was. Everybody just thought, hey, you're charismatic and you're here, you could do it. And so I remember thinking, oh wow, like influence, my purpose, it's gone. I'm like the 40, 50 students that I was helping lead. I was like, when else am I going to be able to do anything that meaningful again? And then I delivered pizza for a bit in between there, and then I got a job working at a production company, and my boss and everybody there kind of taught me film and editing and all these things. And then my boss Chris Brank let me borrow equipment to make stuff, and then that's what resulted up until things that you're seeing now. And so and I said all that to say the conversations that I've been able to have based on content that I've created at airports, coffee, people stopping me randomly, is like, I'm like, wow. So what I was lamenting when I was let go from a church, thinking, wow, I'm never going to be able to, share, talk, like this is it. Ultimately, all this stuff, somebody can watch the worship song, and it's, we worked really hard on it. But then they're like, yeah, like, I grew up with worship music like that, and this really made me think about like worship and whatnot. And so I'm like, wow, what a great, it's like the target is different. The target's not like, oh, here's a thing and it's mind blowing and it's whatever and it's but it's like, hey, the target, like it made me think about it differently, or I really enjoyed that, or it was just a good conversation starter. And that's what I enjoy about like good content. You watch a really good film, you name it. You don't just go, that was good. You want to call somebody who's also watched it, or you want to stand in the parking lot outside the theater and piece it together in what you saw,
Right.
And so, I'm glad to be able to play like a small part of that, like the Christian pocket with songs and videos like my friends and I make.
Well, you're definitely doing it, man. You're crushing it. So we love it. Yep. You do a great job, and keep it up,
Thank you,
man.
guys. Hey, thank you. Hey, and I'm also I'm investing in the Shift tonight as well. Listen, I'm not going to talk about it.
Oh, no kidding, man. Are you for real?
I am, yeah. Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Oh, we appreciate that. We really do. We'll if you do it before we end and we see your name pop up, we'll shout you out.
Hey, absolutely. I'm going for that. Listen, I might spend some of that worship song stream money, and I'm gonna go for the Brock for a day tier. All right.
we might have to go that one. Awesome. Well, hey, thank you so much for joining us. We are now finally going to show the animatic. If you want to stick around and watch that with us, please do.
I'm sticking around.
Yeah, man. It is not to be missed. It is going to be something really special. So, thank you so much, Shama, and we'll put you back in your box for now, and I'm sure we'll be in touch.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Thank you.
All right,
appreciate it.
Take care. All right, it is finally time. It is finally time. We've been putting it off. We've probably been.
Hey, that's a good show though. That's a good show.
It is a good show.
You do the big tease in the beginning.
That's right.
You draw people out to the end.
Keep going.
That's how it works.
We got a new investor. Tanya from Florida just invested $150. Thank you, Tanya. We appreciate that. And okay, so I think that's it for the investors for right now. That's it for Shama. Jason's done. Everything's done. It's time to launch the animatic. All right, but we need to talk about it first. Okay. I gotta set this up. I gotta set this
context.
Up.
All right.
So context. So what is an animatic? An animatic is lightly animated storyboards. Mm-hmm. Usually, this is something that a filmmaker creates in order to visualize his movie beforehand, or so the studio can kind of see and get an idea of what's going on. They don't usually take it as far as we did. We took it really, really far. Usually an animatic has got like some tent music and maybe a couple of whistles for, sound effects or whatever. And then they get like the animator just like dubs his own voice in. Mm-hmm. We didn't do that. We got back the actors from the short film. We hired our sound designer from the short film, who's also going to work on the feature film, Brandon Jones. Mm-hmm. He did the sound design. We got Matt Nelson and Dan Hasseltine to compose the music for this.
Original music.
Yeah. Original music. We did everything except set up a camera and shoot it. What you're going to see here in a minute is over 600 drawings, music, sound,
from a
dialogue,
talented animator.
From a very talented animator named Kevin Mellon, who works on a Marvel show right now and worked on Archer and Black Lightning, and just an incredible storyboard artist.
Took a lot of really good people to pull this together.
Yeah, it took a lot of people. I counted it up today. It was 14 people.
Really?
Yeah, wow. 14 people total to make this animatic happen. It was a great pleasure directing those 14 people over the last 3 months. This does very much represent my vision for the film, at least as close as I can get it without actually setting up a camera and shooting it.
Exactly.
It's been an incredible experience. I am so excited to share it with you.
Yep.
My point in sharing this with you is because we have been saying all this time that this is not like any other faith-based film anybody's ever seen before. And some people watch our short film, which was made for $500, and they think, well, it's two guys talking. It's not that different from other faith films. And you know what? Fair.
That scene isn't.
That scene, yeah, maybe visually you're looking at it and you're like, it's not that radical.
Sure.
I think if you listen to what they're saying and what the concepts are, I think it's radically different. But whatever, I'm not gonna fight you on that. Visually, though, yeah, we did what we could. This animatic, if you think after watching this that this is like every other faith-based film out there, I mean, I give up. I have made the best case I can that this is not what we are doing. We are doing something radically different in every aspect. This is not the kind of score you're ever going to hear in a Christian film. These aren't the kinds of sounds you're ever going to hear. This isn't the dialogue you're ever going to hear. This is not the
action itself, the sequences.
The sequences, everything is not what you're going to find in a typical faith-based or Christian film, which isn't to say that this is devoid of faith. Yeah. It is not. This is embedded with the values that we share and that we share with so many of you. Just to set this up, for those of you that are coming into this cold, hopefully you've seen the short film. If you haven't, here's what you need to know. Kevin Garner is having had a very bad day. And he met Satan, and Satan offered him the world, anything he wanted, basically. And he also explained it to we just had Brad from California, invested $102. Awesome. Thank you, Brad. Satan explained to Kevin that, hey, there are parallel worlds and I move people between them to confuse them. Mm-hmm. That's what I do. That's how I tempt people. I put them into situations where they're confused, and then they start arguing with their spouse and other people. And it's just, I make everything as bad and chaotic as I possibly can by imperceptibly moving people across parallel worlds. Is that biblical? No, it's not. This is me speaking. It's not. We're using science fiction to express some ideas about how the world works and how Satan works within it and how God works within it. At the end of that short film, Kevin says a prayer, a very important and powerful prayer, and Satan goes away. He flees, because when you invoke the name of Christ, that's what happens. We are now picking up with this animatic many years later. It has been years since Kevin and Satan have been together, and since he left. And Kevin has spent this time on a dark world where things have not been going well for him. And he has been trying to find a way off of this world to get back to his wife, who he loves and he misses. And so that's where we find him at the beginning of this, what we're about to present to you. It's the first time that Kevin and Satan have seen each other in basically many, many years. And a lot has happened, and there's going to be some things in here. Like I can't explain every detail that's gonna like prepare you for every single line that everybody's going to say. But just emotionally understand that Kevin has been trying to get off of this dark world. He's seen Satan again for the first time. Tina has been long gone and lost because she was shifted away during his whole encounter with the devil. There was a waitress, unfortunately, who was a victim of that whole encounter, and she was shifted away onto a parallel world where she went crazy and was committed to a psych ward. So she's in a bad way, and Kevin hasn't seen her. So that's where we're starting here. Everybody's like, let's go, show it anything.
If you're not like pulling at your skin and pulling your hair out, and your head's about to explode.
But I wanted to give some context. So here we go. Without further ado, I hope everybody's been sharing this live stream, and we've got a lot of people ready to see this thing. This is the Shift Animatic.
Let's do it.
You know what evil really is, Kevin? I mean, when you break it all down, it's not scary. It's not blood rites and red demons with horns and all that nonsense. It's just selfishness. Self before anyone else. Purest motivation there is, and I respect it so damn much. You hear that, Gabriel? I respect you.
Thank you, sir.
Sorry. All out. Wasn't expecting company.
Yes, you were. You've been expecting company for 5 years now. I mean, that's your whole problem, Kevin. You keep expecting him to show up. And why shouldn't you? You prayed, he came. You knocked, he answered. Isn't it reasonable to expect he'll hold the door open? But he doesn't. He never does. When are you finally going to wake up and realize he doesn't take care of his own? He'll help you and make you think he loves you, and then he'll what? What does he say? He'll always be with you? No. Look at you. He's gone, and you're left holding the bag. Alone.
It's a test.
A test? Kevin, are you even listening to me? You passed his test 5 years ago. How many tests are there supposed to be? I mean, where's the syllabus?
There's supposed to be one in that drawer.
Oh, Kevin. I'm trying to help you. I really am. My offer still stands. You never have to eat baked beans from a can again. Unless you love baked beans from a can, in which case I'll get you a truck full. I don't judge. I have so much to give you if you'll let me. And, unlike him, once you're with me, that's it. I've got your back for life.
What did you do with my son?
What?
Did you shift my son away?
Oh, Kevin. Go ahead.
I'm telling you, I don't know anyone named Daniel Asada. I don't know him.
I'm not married.
Bria, hide the girls.
Brigitte, come inside. Come inside.
Please, leave. Hey! Don't!
Gabriel, get down!
What are you doing in here?
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Get out! Get out!
Person
Keep moving. I'm from there. I'm from there.
Gabriel?
You are not supposed to be here.
What?
Tina, please. Do you know where you are today?
Of course.
Tell me.
I'm far. Far, far away. Far, far away.
Tina? Tina? Do you know who I am?
Kevin, at the table.
That's right. It's Kevin. You remember, don't you?
Kevin at the table points. The multiplicity of everything opens up. Swallows. Big gulp. I'm eaten. In the words. Far away I go. So very far away. I am eaten in the words. I had a family, a husband, a daughter, a life.
Daughter?
What has he done to them?
I don't know.
Take me back. Take me away from here and take me back.
I don't know how. There is men, and they're after me, and they...
Take me back!
Tina, calm down.
No!
Let her go! Stop! Just stop! Get back! Please, just let her go! We are fine!
Tina, calm down!
Just stop!
This is a great flick. I'm telling you.
Oh, yeah?
She's this total badass who knows everybody's business because she's lived it all before. Owns this cop like a cop ain't never been owned.
Ugh, I hate cops. Hate them.
Telling you, great flick, great movie. Are you hungry? I need a sandwich. Can I get you girls anything?
I'm good, baby.
All right. I'll be back. I'll be back. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. Who sent you? No one. Who are you? You have any idea whose house you're in? What you're into just by coming here? Did they even tell you? No, I'm... Shut up! Please, let me explain. You're... What are you doing here? Look, I know this is confusing. I said, what are you doing here? This is my world! My world! I am not here for anything you have. If you'll just put the gun down, I'll be on my way. You've got one. Why would he give one to you? He didn't. Give it here. I can't do that. I said, give it here!
And that's it. That is the Shift Animatic. Just like every other faith-based film out there, right?
Exactly.
Just, I mean, it's the same.
It's
thing.
nothing different.
It's nothing new to see.
I don't know about you guys. When I saw it for the first time a couple hours ago, I was literally just sitting back with this huge grin on my face. And it's like, this is awesome. And from our last live stream, I mentioned that this sequence is the part that I was always looking forward to in the script and actually seeing play out live. And now, like, even more so than ever, like, I can't wait till we shoot this.
Yeah.
This is the thing that gets put to film.
Yeah, it's both the scariest part of the film because there's a lot of complication to execute this, but it is also really, really exciting. And Adam says, "I'm so freaking pumped for this."
So am I.
So are we, Adam. Sherry says, "Ooh, this is intense." Yes, it is very intense, very intense. Amanda says, "Wow." Lots of ellipses on that one. Teresa says, "Excellent." Comments are just pouring in here. Jane says, "Can't wait for this to go into production. It looks amazing, so artistic."
Agreed.
Yeah, this is awesome. This is awesome. Cheyenne from Utah invested $501.
Thank you,
Thank
Cheyenne.
you so much, Cheyenne.
Love that.
I think there were some other investments that came during that too. Oh well, they'll pop up. But this animatic, I'll tell you what, it's been a challenge. I had never done anything like that before. I have obviously I've done films and things, but working with an animator and just that whole process, it was a lot of iteration, a lot of just honing it in. It wasn't like, oh, we know exactly what we're doing. And even the guys who had done it before, it was very much just, well, let's just start throwing mud at the wall and just keep honing and honing further until we get down to the thing. And I mean, there were tweaks I literally made this morning.
Really?
Yeah. Like I got the final edit from those guys and I looked at it and I was like, nope, I'm going to do these 3 things. And so, like there were some push-ins and things that I added literally this morning. But I don't know. It is so amazing to see this put together, to see it happening. Oh my gosh, we have the most amazing. Speaking of amazing, Shama from South Carolina just invested $303. Hey, Shama, thank you so much.
He's going for that Brock is a day tier.
Be Brock for a day tier. Is that the $300?
Yeah, that's it.
No, but it is the get your name in the credits tier.
That's right.
So Shama's name, is Shama going to be in the Shift? Yes, he is. His name is going to be in the credits. So everybody who wanted to know, it's official. Shama is in the Shift. I hope all of you enjoyed that. I hope that is something that inspires you. You know, we're putting it out there right now because we have 2 weeks left. We have 2 weeks left for investment. Anybody who comes to us after November 23rd, we're going to have to say, I'm sorry. It's not happening. It's done. So what is the point of putting this out? Terry says, I am blown away at how you were able to reveal so much of the story in just a short time. So good. Yep. It is a very compact 10 minutes. It's 10 minutes, but there's a lot that happens in that 10 minutes. Yeah. And look, it's from the third act. In a lot of ways, it doesn't make any sense to put this out there.
Right.
But we put it out there because we want to inspire investment. We want people to look at this thing and say, oh my goodness, this needs to be made as a film.
We want that.
We want exactly what Morgan is saying right now. I read/listened to the script, and now this, definitely glad that I have invested. We're glad you have invested too, Morgan. And yeah, this should give you an idea. Look, it's one thing to put things on paper, right? It's one thing to put things on paper. It's one thing to do a $500 short film. This animatic shows you, I mean, it's basically ripped from my brain. Yeah. This is what the film is. This is what the film has always been to me, and now it's so great because I can finally show it to people and say, this is what I've been saying.
And the crazy thing is, it's just a piece of it.
It's just a piece.
It's a very big piece of it, but I mean, it's just tip of the iceberg. And what's so great about this in terms of the animatic, which again, I'm glad we ended up going this route. I was totally against it in the beginning. You convinced me.
You were so against it.
And I had no idea what it was. And then now having seen it, like, okay, I'm glad I was wrong on this one. I'm glad we did this. But it really helps to convey it. But there's just so much more that's going to be in the film, and this kind of just helps to get people to understand this is the gravity of what we're doing, the scale, the ambition, and It's why we need the investment, because this is a cartoon version of it. We have to actually do this with real actors, lots of special effects, CG. We have access to Mandalorian tech to pull some of this stuff off, and this is kind of where that would go.
Yeah, what you've just seen, some of that is going to be accomplished with
all of which costs
that technology.
Money.
Well, not that.
Not that one. That's true.
Free.
That one we're getting that free.
But there's a lot of things that'll be done outside of that we will need money for,
which is amazing. If we had to pay for the Mandalorian tech, it'd be a whole lot more.
It'd be a whole lot more expensive. No kidding.
There you go.
Shelly says, so what happens next? I was totally drawn in. Y'all get busy.
Trying to.
If you want to know what happens next, and you want to know what happens before these sequences we just showed you, you can actually go and read the script right now at angel.com/theshift. It is there. It is available for you. You can check it out right now. Obviously, you're not going to be able to see an animatic of everything, but you can at least find out what's going on and what this film is all about.
Right.
This is a very different film. It is a very different film. But we are so excited to bring it to you. We're excited to bring it to the world, to do something different, and to make it something that, I mean, a non-believer would watch that.
I believe so.
Is there anything in there that a non-believer would not? I mean, somebody who's like a fan of sci-fi and is open to that kind of genre.
Absolutely no. It fits perfectly within that mold.
Yeah,
which is the goal, which is part of what we're trying to do here.
Yeah, exactly. That's the goal, and that's why I'm so glad this exists. So after this live stream is over, it is not going to be posted immediately online because I'm still trying to get that ready. We have a little intro that we made that we're going to be putting onto it so that we can release this onto social media and we can have it so that people can watch it and they can share it with their friends. And so that's what I'm asking you right now. If you're watching this and you think that this is exciting and you think that this is something that needs to happen, number one, please invest. And if you've already invested, you can invest more. That is totally something you can do.
For sure.
Every investment is a risk, keep that in mind, but we're hoping that you're inspired by this even more. And that if you already are an investor, that this is something you're really going to want to get in front of your friends. So this piece, this animatic, is going to be available soon online outside of this live stream that you will be able to now share with your friends. And we have 2 weeks left. Richard says, I invested. Do it. Awesome. Love the enthusiasm, Richard. Thank you.
Little Shia LaBeouf there.
Little Shia. Totally.
Do it.
But yeah, we are going to make this available soon in a much more public way. We hope that you will share it with your friends, like, comment, all that stuff. That helps Facebook, especially comments, helps Facebook to know that this is something that it needs to put in front of a lot more people.
The more buzz, the more it's shared, the more it's liked, the more it's engaged with, it ranks higher in the algorithm and Facebook puts it out to more people. So it's helpful.
So we have been talking for far too long. It's over an hour and a half now.
Oh, wow.
If you're still watching, you're amazing. But if there are any last questions, now is the time. Hey, did we ever hit? Morgan says, I've been telling my friends this is Job Goes Matrix / sci-fi.
Love that analogy.
Perfect.
That fits squarely with the way we've been pitching it.
Absolutely. That is how we think of it.
Yep.
If there are any last questions, we can take them. Any last investments? Did we hit
our goal?
Our goal. Well, kind of my mini goal of 1,000 investors. I don't know. I'm checking it right now. And oh gosh, we're one person short. We have 999 investors. I would love in the next minute to hit 1,000. That would be a great thing to have. John just popped it up on the screen. But I don't know that we're going to get there, and we've been talking too long, so you all want to move on. But we do have one last thing to show you. I also want to tell you about what's happening tomorrow. Okay. Believe it or not, we are doing another live stream tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Pacific, we're going to be joined by Pastor Sam Rodriguez, who is going to watch the short film with us. That's right. We're going to have a watch party. We're going to watch the short film and to get Pastor Sam's, a pastor, his thoughts on the shift and what it means and what it could do.
And he's had some involvement in the faith film industry in the past, so he's no stranger to any of this.
No stranger to movies. So we're very, very interested in his thoughts and seeing what he thinks about the shift. So we invite you to join us tomorrow at 11 a.m. for that. Next week on Wednesday, we're going to have Shift Con, which is kind of our like Comic-Con sci-fi convention. We're going to put into this live stream. It's going to be a whole thing. We'll have a lot more to say.
Are you dressing up for that?
I think I figured out my costume.
Really?
Yeah, I think I did. I don't know if I can pull it off. I'm going to try. You got to figure out yours too.
Okay.
And that's it. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for checking out the Animatic. It will be online hopefully tomorrow. That's my goal. Watch for that. Please tell your friends. We have 2 weeks left. Just 2. So thank you very much. I am Brock Heasley, the writer and director of The Shift.
And I'm Orlando J. Gomez, producer of The Shift.
Good night, everybody.
Take it easy.
Look, we get it. You're sick of hearing about The Shift and what a great film it is and why you should support it. So you know what? Let's look at the other side. There are plenty of reasons to not invest in The Shift. So here we go. Top 10 reasons to not invest in The Shift. Number 10. Being involved in the making of a feature film is exciting and fun and deeply rewarding. And the last time you did something exciting and fun, you were rewarded with a broken hip. There. Number 9. Weirdly, you have an aversion to bricks. So many bricks. Number 8. Jesus' name is spoken clearly, and you prefer his name muttered or sung in a limerick.
There once was a man named Jesus, and he went looking for some cheeses. But he thought...
That's enough. Number 7. You're a vegetarian, and all that meat eating grosses you out. Okay, we can see that, but to be fair, so was she. She was pretty grossed out. She was a vegetarian actress. Number 6, there's a prayer in it, and you hate prayer. It is your least favorite part of worship, right after reading the Bible. Number 5, there are relatable characters in the film with flaws and problems you can identify with. And only perfect people without struggle are interesting to you. Remind me never to let you pick the movie on movie night. Number 4, you hate being a part of putting something good out into the world. People have already been comforted in their trials and sorrows and have had their hearts changed and their lives touched by The Shift, but sure, okay, maybe that's not your thing. Number 3, faith-based films are just fine the way they are, thank you very much, and they should never be different or appeal to anyone new. Number 2, you hate money. There's a potential return on your investment here, and, money is coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere. No, wait, that's sand. And finally, number 1, The Shift portrays Satan as bad, and you don't like that message. What, did he buy you lunch or something once?
Just have a coffee, please. Are you sure it's my treat?
So there you are. Those are your top 10 reasons to not invest in The Shift. Now, if you would disagree with those reasons and you'd like to join us, you can do that right now. And if you don't, I don't know, was it the meeting? Was that the one? I don't know.